Hey folks, today's episode is sponsored by MeUndies. MeUndies only cares about making the most comfortable underwear you've ever experienced. I wear MeUndies and they make the whole day better because when you feel good, your day is good. MeUndies delivers your new favorite pair of underwear right to your door. Better day guaranteed. You can only get them on the MeUndies website with free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. Everyone listening to this gets 20% off their first order. Go to MeUndies.com/WTF. That's 20% off your first order. MeUndies.com/WTF. We're also sponsored by CISO. And right now, CISO has season 2 of Bajillion Dollar Properties, the show that makes fun of those real estate TV shows so you don't have to. Paul F. Tompkins leads the over-the-top Beverly Hills real estate agents at Platinum Realty, selling houses to the rich and famous with stars like Zach Galifianakis, Nick Kroll, Busy Phillips, Jack McBrayer, and Dave Foley. All episodes of Bajillion Dollar Property Season 2 are available now only on CISO. Go to SEESO.com and start your free trial. New users can use promo code Maron to get 2 months free. Let's do the show.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fucksters, what the fuckineers, what's happening? I'm Marc Maron. This is WTF. This is my podcast. I've been doing it since 2009. Twice a week, every week, always a new show. Happy to do it. Thank you for listening. Today on the show, David Crosby, the David Crosby, who I actually kind of contacted on Twitter, and we went back and forth. We had a couple phone conversations. He came over. Sweet man. And also a dude with a history. I don't know what you know, but some of us went through those couple of records, those Crosby, Stills, and Nash records, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. And I listened to them before I had David on. And no matter what's going on in the world today with singer-songwriters, sweet country stuff, folky business, thoughtful, acoustic-y things, you put those on, and you put Sweet Judy Blue Eyes on. And I'm not diminishing anybody. I think everybody's doing a fine job out there with their guitars and their mouths. But those guys singing together, I hadn't listened to it in years. I don't know why. It's just not one of the ones that I put in rotation. But Jesus Christ, nothing sounds like that. Nothing sounds like those fellas, those titans of harmony. David's here in a minute. He'll be here. He's got a new record out that I just got sent. It's lovely. His new album's called Lighthouse. Comes out this Friday, October 21st. He's going to go on tour next month. These guys, they go out and they do it, these 70-something-year-old fellas. They got to go out, man. What's the point of living? You can also pre-order the album at davidcrosby.com and figure out if he's coming to a place near you. He's still donning or manning that mustache of his. He's doing well with his incredibly hardcore history and new liver, and it was a pleasure to talk to him. I'm glad he came over. He's a radical dude who's lived through some shit. All right. I also wanted to say the Now Hear This Festival is next week. Come check out more than 30 podcasts live all weekend. It's October 28th through 30th at the Anaheim Marriott. And the special WTF show with me and Brendan McDonald is on Saturday the 29th. Go to nowhearthisfest.com to get tickets and see the full lineup. And now you can use the offer code WTF when you buy tickets to save 25% off general admission. That's nowhearthisfest.com. Offer code WTF. What is on my mind? I seem to be festering about something, about the general condescension to those people, myself included. I will include myself in this, in show business. Show business. The show business industry. There's a lot of, it comes from the right, it comes from whoever, but there's some sort of dumb idea that those of us who work in this industry don't work somehow. And it's disrespectful and snotty. Do you know what it takes to make fucking 3 minutes of television? Now, look, I'm not saying I'm some sort of fucking hero. Do you know how many people are involved on how many levels? It's not just writers, not just actors. There's lighting guys, there's caterers, there's hair and makeup, there's truck drivers, there's people that are operating cameras, camera operators, there are stand-in people, there are props people, there are people in charge of transportation, managing porta potties, trailers, and it just keeps building out from there. Locations people who hold mics, people who are hanging things from ladders, people who are risking their lives on some level. 12 to 15 hour days we do. It's just shitty when people think that celebrity culture, maybe celebrity culture is what it is, but the industry of show business employs a lot of fucking people on a lot of different levels. You know, who have families, who do real work. I don't know where you get out thinking it's not real work. And again, this is not some heroic diatribe. It's fucking work. This is the job we chose. I don't know what you chose. I don't know how it's working out, but it certainly hasn't been easy, and it's not easy on a day-to-day level. I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about everything that goes into the industry. Now, you may not like what we produce. You may think it's shit, but it's a fucking business. It's an industry, and a lot of people work really hard. So shut the fuck up with this condescending attitude about celebrity culture, which is different than the actual nuts and bolts of show business. I'm not even sure who I'm talking to or why it got stuck in my craw. There's just this general dismissal of something that, you know, is a major business and industry in this country, and where people work very hard, and many of them are not appreciated. Okay? We're trying to make stuff that resonates, some of us. We're trying to make things that add and don't just distract or take away, that provoke, that confront, that entertain, but you know, move you through things. Humane and humbling. We're sponsored by Stamps.com today, which means it's time to think about all those trips you've taken to the post office. Keep those in the past and get postage right from your desk from now on. Stamps.com gives you special postage discounts you can't get at the post office. First class, priority mail, express, international, and more, people. You'll never pay full price for postage again. Use your own computer and printer to buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package. Then just hand it to your mail carrier or drop it in a mailbox. It's that easy. 500,000 small businesses are already using Stamps.com, including us. Stamps.com is only $15.99 a month. That's it. No long-term, multi-year commitments, no postage meters, no markups on postage. So let's recap. It saves you money, it saves you time, and it's easy. Right now, sign up for Stamps.com and use my promo code WTF for this special offer. Start a 4-week trial, plus get a $110 bonus offer, including postage and a digital scale. Don't wait! Get started with Stamps.com today! Go to Stamps.com before you do anything else. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in WTF. That's Stamps.com. Enter WTF. Yes, show business. And I'm grateful that it finally worked out for me and I can earn an honest living, which it is. That's another thing people don't realize. As cable and things level off and options expand and the market diversifies and fragments, not all of us are running away with $1 billion an episode. You dig? Pow! I just shit my pants. JustCoffee.coop. Available at WTFpod.com. Classic ad. WTF ad from our original sponsors. Here's a nice email. A nice email. Don't read the comments in the subject line. I like this idea, by the way, what you're about to hear. It's from Sam. Greetings, Mark and or people that read Mark's mail. I thought of a good preamble to this pitch. I was kind of bummed this morning when I saw there was another singer-songwriter guest on the WTF podcast, but decided to listen anyway. I was delighted to hear the Margot Price interview and even went back and listened to the Hutch Harris interview, resulting in even more delight. Lesson learned, and as I have recently heard the same sentiment espoused on a listener mail segment on the show. In parentheses, don't skip interviews. I would also like to compliment WTF on incorporating a testimonial that actually rang true. That was the preamble. Here's the pitch. Toward the end of the Margot Price interview, before I had ever heard any of her music, Mark and Margot were talking about how awful it is to read the negative trolling comments on Twitter. Margot spoke very passionately and truthfully about saying it ruins my happiness, while Mark had the tone of a seasoned cynic with his time-worn refrain, don't read the comments, which is when the light bulb came on, so to speak, because I had already been primed for the idea because Mark and Margot were talking about collaborating on a song. I didn't know if it was a good fit, and I played with the idea until the end of the podcast. 10 minutes later, when Margot sang Desperate and Depressed, it was then that I realized I wanted to write this email. So there it is. Don't read the comments. A duet sung by Marc Maron and Margot Price. I don't feel like I should elaborate any more than that. Either you get it or you don't, I guess, except to say the challenge here seems to be not make it sound like a parody-type Weird Al kind of song, right? To make it sound authentic and not synthetic. Anyways, food for thought. Keep up the good fight, WTF. Your podcast makes my job raking leaves as I try to finish my first novel, somewhat more bearable. Sam. All right, Margot Price, if you're listening, it's not a challenge, but I think it's a solid idea. I'm going to be in Nashville soon. I don't know if you're going to be there. Yeah, I could just text you this, but why not make it public? Why not make this public? I'll scribble some stanzas. You do too. We'll go basic country, 3 chords, maybe with some sort of, chorus. You know, maybe with a refrain that might throw in a minor chord or something. But I'm ready to work on this. I'm ready to work on Don't Read the Comments by Margot Price and Marc Maron. I'm just putting that out there. Neither one of us need it, but I think it would be fun. I can sing a little bit. All right? You hear me, Margot? Do you hear me? Hey, I want everyone who's hiring to listen up. If you need to find the right person for a job, it can be pretty overwhelming. You can't just post your job in one place if you want to find the best candidates, right? And if you're going to post your job on multiple sites, you're going to want a way to keep track of all the applicants, right? Now you can post your job on more than 100 job sites with ZipRecruiter.com. You'll also post to social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 1 million businesses. And right now, WTF listeners post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/Maron. That's ZipRecruiter.com/MARON. Did a lovely charity event last night. Seth Rogen asked me to do a 10-minute spot on his hilarity for charity. Alzheimer's benefit was me and Jen Kirkman and Morgan Murphy. And James Corden was there, and Courtney Love was there, and Snoop Dogg closed the thing out. There was dancing. It's nice when dancers are employed. I like seeing dancers. I don't see enough dancing. How amazing is it when you see somebody who's a pro up there doing whatever it is they do, right? David Crosby, for instance. This guy stood in the front of thousands singing. Just a human with a voice. Great guy. I mean, I might have to, maybe someday we'll talk again. He seemed to want to hang out. I thought he might move in. Kidding. He would. It's a joke, David. It's a joke. I love talking to you, so I'm going to share it with the people right now. This is me and the legendary David Crosby. You can turn the bird off? Do you know how?
Yes, I am, but I'm going to tell my wife where the garage is first, because she'll get here and not know what to do. I'll get her to text me when she gets here.
There you go. But then we're going to have to deal with that noise the whole time.
No, I'm going to turn the noise off.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave the phone where I can see it.
Got it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oof. I literally thought you were making that noise, and I thought, like, well, that's this weird David Crosby thing. He just makes bird noises occasionally. I was very impressed.
R2D2 ringtone.
Okay. So the fella that dropped you off, that's your son.
That's one of my sons.
One of your sons.
That's the oldest one, yeah. That's James.
And there it is. And you, from what relationship was that, David?
One of a number.
Yeah.
What? I was kind of irresponsible, man. I don't want to say I was trying to like wear it off. But I was like trying to. Jesus, there's got to be a euphemism I can use here.
Get as much in as possible.
Yeah, something like that. That's even more graphic than I was going to be, but yeah, okay.
Live life.
To the fullest.
Yeah.
And, his mom put him up for adoption, and
you were part of that choice?
No.
Oh, that just happened. You were alerted of that later. Right.
And I knew he existed.
Right.
I didn't know where.
And so you reunited.
Well, yeah, you can't track from the parent down, only from the kid up, right? So I didn't know where he was, and I wondered about him, and I tortured myself about it, thinking, oh, God, he's, cold and hungry and living in a dumpster, and normal things that you torture yourself.
Sure.
And so then I'm in the hospital.
With which ailment?
I'm dying of hepatitis C, and I'm very close to dying.
Yeah.
Very close.
This is before the liver?
This was the liver.
Okay.
And so I'm about a week away from dying. Then they finally got a match and they transplant me. And all of a sudden, it's a really strange thing. You go from being sicker each day, dying, and you can feel the system's collapsing, right? It's like a house of cards.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they operate on you, and all of a sudden now you're not sick, you're wounded.
Yeah.
And you're getting better every day.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky it took, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
Yeah.
It's kind of science fiction, but anyway, I'm getting bags.
Yeah.
Like Santa Claus bags.
Yeah.
Of mail.
Yeah.
They're bringing them in every day.
Yeah.
In the middle of those, there's a letter that says, "Hi, we're John and Madeline Raymond, and we raised your son."
Oh, my God.
They had told him that, he had just gotten married, and he was about to have his first kid, Grace. And they said, "You should know who your genetic dad is." So he went and found out, and he goes, "No way." And then he checked, and then way.
It's you.
It was me. And so he knew somebody that knew me, and actually the guy who was my sponsor. And he got a hold of me, and we connected up, and those things usually go wrong.
Do they? Because of the resentment, maybe? Or,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. People bring too much baggage to the deal.
Sure.
Hey, why did you leave me and Mom? We weren't good enough for you?
Yeah.
He didn't do that. He gave me a clean slate, which is a huge gift.
Because he had good parents.
He had very good parents, really sweet people. And he was by nature a person who goes for the high ground. And so he gave me a shot.
Yeah.
He gave me a clean slate. Let me earn my way into his life. And which is not common. It doesn't usually go that way.
No.
So it was a huge, wonderful thing. That's happened twice now in my life. I have a daughter who was put up for adoption by her mom, and
same period. I mean, that kid that I just met must be my age almost. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was raised in Mexico, and came back in, asked her mom who her father was. Mom told her. She got a hold of me and said, I think I'm your daughter. And I said, well, let's find out. And so we found out, and she absolutely was. And she's really frustrating. She's really smart. And English is her second language, right? But she beats me every time I play her in Words with Friends. Constantly. She beats me like a rug.
And how old is she?
50s, somewhere.
So these were from that period.
Yeah.
You were just having fun.
I really, I like to kid around and say I have a PhD in fun.
Yeah.
But, it's a mixed blessing. I was pretty selfish and certainly irresponsible.
But you were the funny thing about you is that your face, your mustache, your voice is one of the most identified emblems of the late 60s, really, mid-60s.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And, there's just these, like, the image I have in my mind is, I don't know what kind of house you were renting up there in the canyon or in the hills, but it's just you, like, just the hippie king of his fucking domain. Like, I just pictured, like, it was nonstop up there at Crosby's place.
I would be good at kinging.
Yeah.
I would. I really would.
You'd have a good time.
Comes totally naturally to me.
Do you have royalty in your blood?
No. I got at least one signer of the Declaration of Independence and a couple of bishops and generals. And
really?
Yeah. I don't care. I don't keep track of it.
But your family goes back to
way back, yeah.
What, to the English or to the Dutch?
Both. Brit, Dutch, Irish, and Welsh. Welsh, hey, drunk poets.
Yeah, sure. You got it all.
It works. Yeah, it works.
Good mixture.
I think the kinging thing, I would have. There was some of that. In any case, the kids that I have all wound up being pretty great kids. They are.
And you have a relationship with the donor kids, too, as well, right? Melissa's kids?
Yeah, distantly, yeah. I'm going to Melissa's house when I finish up here. I'm going to Melissa's house.
Oh, yeah?
To do she's got a show on satellite radio.
Yeah, I had Melissa Etheridge here, and it was great. She was great.
She's a very brave woman.
Brave and engaged and still does very consistent, great work.
Yeah.
It's hard, I imagine, for maybe you as well, that when you're as huge as like you were, and you're still doing great work, that it's like it's hard to think that you're not doing it in a vacuum sometimes, I would imagine.
It's really hard to understand your place in the world. I don't look at myself the way everybody else does.
Of course not,
because
right.
I know what a bozo I really am. And you try to tell people, you say, no, I put my pants on one leg at a time. Same
right.
as you,
Right.
But I've, my life in relation to the rest of the world has been very strange. Making all the mistakes that I made in front of the world, that was not fun.
Well, because you were such an icon, the fall when you fell, years after the 60s, it was surprising, but, that story, not as you definitely outdid most of your peers by living.
Yeah, I'm baffled about that, but yeah.
But there was sort of like, this is how the 60s crashes in a way.
Yeah. I mean, there we were. And it had a lot to do with the substances. We were doing, we were smoking pot, which I don't see much wrong with. And
back in the day, you're talking.
Yeah. And we were taking psychedelics. And then along came cocaine, and that was it just destroyed the whole thing.
Late 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed it.
And speed, right?
Not for me, for the bikers, yeah.
Yeah, but speed in the general culture seemed to be...
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was this cultural thing was, if you had any money, it was cocaine. If you didn't have any money, it was speed.
Yeah, that horrible yellow speed that bikers
bad
made.
Shit. Yeah. I had some friends in the Hells Angels, so I knew about it a lot, but it's not something I did.
Well, let's track it back. This is a very surprising thing, and I'll tell you only because I think there's nothing ironic about it, just the way shit worked out. But Neil Young was sitting right there yesterday.
Uh-oh.
No. I mean, look, I didn't talk. I don't do that shit. I very vaguely, like everybody getting along. He's like, yep. Yeah. But, he's being diplomatic. And
he just doesn't want to do the same thing I don't want to do. You put your laundry out in public.
Yeah, but there's the thing is that what you've put out in public, I'm not a big laundry guy. If it's fresh laundry, old laundry we can talk about.
Yeah.
But it hurts me a little bit that you guys, all of you guys go in and out. You're humans, right?
Yeah.
But the work you did, was so phenomenal.
I'm proud of it.
No, how could you not be, right?
I'm totally proud of it. I mean, it is history, but it's good history. We did good work.
Oh, man, dude, I put that shit on, I used to listen to the first CSN record a lot, when I was a kid. And it was already, I'm 52, so it was, I'm coming to it not in its time, I'm coming to it like, what's this, And I just put it on this morning, and I'm like, no one does this. You guys did something no one did, and no one sounds like that on any level. It's not just the singing; it's all of it. It's the vibe. It's completely hypnotic and beautiful and elevating, and no one can do it, but you guys.
Well, thanks. Thanks, he said, blushing.
You know that, though.
I do. It really has a lot to do with the songs.
And the magic of how you guys synchronize.
Yes, we had a thing, a vocal sound that was exceptional. 3 very different voices.
Yeah.
And it was an exceptional sound. And, but I think it always, in all performers, comes down to the songs. If you have a song, and you can sit down with a guitar or a piano and sing it to somebody and make them feel something, then you have the Jacks Are Better, the openers, the sine qua non.
Right. You know, you've got the tune.
You got the stuff to work with.
Work the melody.
If you don't have that, you can do all the production in the world and you're only just polishing a turd. There's no substance there. So we had them.
Yeah.
And part of the thing was we had 3 writers, or when Neil was there, we had 4 writers.
Yeah.
Which means you get the very best songs of each guy, which kept the bar pretty high on being able to play you something that would make you feel something.
How would that work, though? Would you guys bring in songs you'd written and then work them together, or was it? Yeah.
We'd come in, I'd sit down with them and sing them a song.
Yeah.
And they would sit down and sing me a song. And if it tripped our trigger, we'd say, what if I do this?
Right.
And it was a very organic process.
Which doesn't happen with everybody.
No.
I mean, you gotta pay some due to the chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was there. And, I'm glad that Neil was here. It's smart of Neil to come talk to you. He's a fascinating guy, don't you think?
He's got a thing he's, making. This player, the Pono thing is why he's out in the world.
He always
is. But what I noticed about him, though, was that, there are guys who want to talk about back in the day, and there are guys who could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And, he's a take it or leave it guy.
Yeah, he feels the same way I do. He's really concerned with what he can do today.
Sure.
And what he would like to do tomorrow, and what he might be able to do this week or this month or this year.
Right.
He doesn't really look back at CSNY as much or at his past much, and neither do I. You got so much time on the planet, just so much.
Right.
Do you want to spend your time looking over your shoulder, or are you trying to use every minute?
Right.
Because it's totally precious.
Right.
And he gets that.
Yeah, but there's the thing for me in a conversation, though, is that I get sort of fascinated with, where you guys come from, what it looked like when you started, what started to define you and your skills, and then what was the journey. I think the journey is a pretty beautiful thing. I'm not saying you got to live there, but I mean, I imagine that in your quiet moments when you're not thinking of a new tune or how the world is ending, that you got to go back to some things and go like, that was a fucking good time.
I don't. I understand what you're saying.
I'm going to make you.
And well, no, I can.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Right.
And I think that's very admirable. I think some other people who shall remain nameless probably do that more than I do.
Right.
But I think Neil is very much looking forward, and I know I am totally. Yeah. That's my entire focus is on today, tomorrow, next week, this year.
Right. But when I, but the beautiful thing is, and this is something that that people don't necessarily, it's not their responsibility to answer or they might not have answers, is that the magic of music is that, especially the best of it, it's really a timeless thing. And anytime you go to it, you can have a different experience with it. It can be nostalgic. It can mean something to you in that moment. It can, bring you to, a place that is timeless and not defined, but beautiful in that moment. It's a magic thing.
It is.
And so you have this magic, a career of magic that as the wizard, you have to fucking answer for when you sit down with somebody on a microphone.
I totally get that. And I don't have a problem doing it.
Yeah.
My focus
now, sure,
is elsewhere. I'll be very corny with you, man. To me, just as war is a depressing force on humanity and brings out the very worst in us, music is a lifting force. Yeah. It is magic. Yeah. It's been mankind's magic since the first caveman danced around his fire going ugga bugga, ugga bugga, ugga bugga, ugga bugga. Right. And it's our party. Right. And it's something that it's one of the two things that link people all over the world constantly and transcend language.
That's right.
Math and music. Eskimo can play music with a Kalahari Bushman. Yeah. It's a magical thing.
Well, that's what was interesting to me about just this morning, listening to, I can't remember my name, is that, you in particular, that, your approach to music, and as you were talking this morning about open tunings, that there is a meditative, almost trance-like quality to that album in particular, because it felt like a group of people coming in and out, not working a lot of chords, but working a repetition to get some sort of communal environment feeling.
Yeah, it was a very strange time in my life. When we had just finished making Deja Vu, and we were in the middle of Deja Vu. My girlfriend got killed in a wreck.
Oh my God! How long were you with her?
Long time. Oh. I've been with her several years.
That's sad.
And so I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
At all. And I would wind up sitting on the floor crying and just not knowing what to do. And when we finished Deja Vu, the other guys went their own way, and I didn't have any place that I felt safe to be. I didn't have really anything to do other than be in the studio. That was it. That was the only place I really could exist without just like weeping. Right. And so I stayed in the studio in Wally Heider's in San Francisco, and my friends showed up.
You were up in SF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my friends showed up, notably Garcia.
Yeah.
Almost every night.
Just to hang out?
No, to play.
And hang out, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he was a friend. But, he loved you.
Yeah, and we played music really well together.
Yeah.
We would take a lot of chances.
Yeah.
And that was his thing. He wanted to be right out on the edge, and an immensely creative human being.
Yeah.
But also, without being mushy about it, he was pretty kind to me because he knew where I was at and that I was
breathing. Shattered.
Blown apart.
Yeah.
And he would come.
He's a funny guy, too, right? He was a funny guy.
Very funny guy.
Yeah.
And he would come, Kantner would come, Nash would come, Joni would come sometimes, Grace would come. Paul Kantner and Grace Slick would come a lot because they were. Grace still is a good friend. David Freiberg, guys from Santana. It's like people would come. Lesh, Cassidy, two fantastic bass players, and I would sing them a song. I'd say, well, what about this? And we would start playing it. And very often that became the record.
Right. The actual sort of
record.
First groove of it.
Yeah.
Everybody getting in
the
it.
Record, yeah. Like the first song on there, the Music is Love.
Yeah.
That's just me and Neil and Nash goofing off.
Oh, he was there?
Yeah. And Nash, and we were in the studio, and we were just goofing off. And I had written some words, that were related to it, but they weren't the same, and it just happened. And that happened a lot in that record, because we were open to it.
And did it help you process?
Yeah.
To be engaged and around friends and,
Like I said, music's a lifting force. And it really is. If there is anybody who puts people on earth to do something, and I don't believe that there is, but if there were, they put me here to make music.
Oh, there's no question about that. And now the Deja Vu, process, that was different. That wasn't as loose, was it?
No, it was very strange. Neil, you got to understand, was never in the band.
No, I got that.
Not in his head.
Yeah.
It was a stepping stone. He had, what was the one he put out? Harvest, right afterwards? Whatever it was. He had it ready.
Yeah.
And we went in there, and he brought his tracks in. And we sang on them.
Right.
But he made the tracks to Country Girl and Helpless and like that. They
were whole things already.
Yeah, and he brought them in. And then we arranged them vocally and put the vocals on them and made them what they are. So it was a kind of strange experience, but it was good. The music was
how did that happen? Did Stills bring them in? I guess we need to go back. So when you grew up here, right?
I was born here.
Right, but I
grew up here about 5th grade, and then we moved up to Santa Barbara.
Oh, so nice. So you're by the beach and whatnot?
Yeah.
And living that life?
Yes.
And when do you choose music? Or when does music choose you?
I started singing harmony when I was about 6. And
just natural. You got it natural.
My family used to play music. My brother played guitar.
Yeah.
He gave me my first guitar.
He was a professional musician, right?
Yeah, and my dad played mandolin a little bit, and my mom sang in the choir and stuff. We used to sit around and sing folk songs.
Oh yeah.
Because we didn't have a TV.
Yeah.
See, my dad was a cinematographer. He made films.
Yeah, he was a big one, right?
Yeah, he got an Academy Award and a Golden Globe and stuff. But anyway, so to them back then in the 50s, TV was the devil because they hadn't figured out they could show movies on TV.
It's still kind of the devil.
It kind of is. but back then, in the film people, well, they won't come to the theaters.
Right.
They'll put us out of business.
Right.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. So we didn't have a TV.
Right. And which actually happened. That prophecy actually came true.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it did. But we used to sing folk songs and stuff, and that was what led me into singing.
But it's an open family. You had a creative family. They were open-minded people that were in the arts to a degree.
To a degree. You know, my dad was actually pretty stiff, old, crusty old guy. He he was born in 1900, so he went through the Depression. Was in a B-24 the entire length of the Second World War.
Oh, shit.
Doing photo recon kind of stuff. So he didn't get out after 35 missions. He just had to keep doing it.
Because he was a photographer.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of crusty and stuff. Yeah. But, you know, in any case, the music thing happened quite naturally. Right. And then I discovered the other half of the human race. And I found out that if you could sing to them, it was a good thing.
Yeah, good intentions.
Yeah. You
got to find your gift somehow.
You know, you got to do something.
Yeah, well, yeah, and because of your voice, then that leads us to what we started talking about. There's still a few kids you might not have met yet.
No, I think. You are really okay. I'm gonna find your weak point. I'll get you.
What do you mean? It's all over the place. Y'all want me to make a list? I'll shove it across the table.
We can compare lists.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure you did better than me.
You know, like I said, I was pretty irresponsible. I had a lot of fun.
But so when did you start playing in bands?
I was a folkie for several years.
Solo?
Yeah, and then I started doing it with my brother, and then we needed to actually put some food on the table, so we were in a band, my friend Bob Ingram and another guy named Mike Clow, and my brother and I were in a band that I can't even tell you the name, it's too embarrassing. But we were in a commercial folk band.
We can find it.
Yeah, I know you can, that's sort of the problem.
Yeah.
But it was pretty terrible, and then I went out on the road some more. By myself, just singing in coffee houses and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
And I came back to L.A.
Mid-60s? Early?
Early, before. Yeah, before that.
Yeah.
Like right after the Civil War. And,
sure. And, the North won, and you were like, great.
And that was really great.
Yeah.
And I came back and I walked into the Troubadour, and Roger McGuinn, and he was Jim McGuinn. And Gene Clark were sitting there singing Beatle-ish sort of stuff. And
duo.
Yeah. And it appealed to me a lot. And so I started singing harmony.
You stepped on stage with them? They knew who you were, or you?
No, this was just happening in the little front room there in the bar.
Oh, okay.
And we were just goofing around. And that became the Byrds.
So you were there at the beginning of that. That was the Byrds. You were that was the founding members having their moment, like, we're doing this.
Yeah. And we knew that it worked. We liked it. So we found, Hillman and Mike Clark, and we made it into a band. That was the first real band that I was really in.
And that was a pretty powerful band.
It worked.
Yeah. I mean, you changed the game a bit.
We had a couple of really lucky things. We figured out how good Bob Dylan was early on, before anybody else.
In terms of, like, you guys respected him as a songwriter and as an artist.
We knew those songs were really good.
Right.
So we did that, and it put us on the map pretty much. Yeah,
and with Mr. Tambourine Man, and what other did you do? Other Dylan covers? No.
Yeah, later on we did. Yeah, Baby Be Good to You, Chimes of Freedom.
Yeah. And that,
so there were several.
And
we
then,
did a bunch.
but you had you were writing originals too. At some point, you were writing.
Yeah, we started
originals.
writing originals pretty quickly.
Yeah, and so, but you guys were doing something that had not been done, which was the transition from folk and more country music into rock music, which was really a new thing and a bit psychedelic as well later on.
Yeah, you know, they kept trying to label us, which was pretty funny. I have no respect for labels at all because they're generally a way to not think about a thing. Oh, that's a blah, 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 and then you don't think about it anymore.
Right.
You've got it tagged.
But I'm saying that, okay, so I'm using those labels, but at that time in Hollywood, in this city, you know, when the Byrds are starting to do...
Oh, no, we did do it.
The first record, right. But who were the other bands? I mean, who were you guys sitting around talking with? Who were you at the club with?
You know what? There weren't any LA bands that we liked. The LA bands were people like Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Really?
Who I normally call Paul Revere and the Rear Doors.
So it hadn't broken open yet.
No.
You guys were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, way.
Yeah.
And the bands that we liked were the bands that I liked.
Yeah.
Anyway, the ones that counted for me
Yeah.
were Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, Quicksilver, Messenger Service, Janis.
So they were all just starting out too.
Yeah.
Mid-'60s. So the first Byrds record is 65. Mr. Tambourine Man.
And the 64.
Okay,
think,
so it's all just starting to go.
Yeah.
But most of what you liked was in the Bay Area.
I liked them because they weren't Hollywood, and
Right.
they didn't give a damn about show business.
Right.
They couldn't, they did not wear little bellboy jackets.
Mm-hmm.
They played in T-shirts, and they played what they wanted.
Yeah.
And they played the way they wanted, and they weren't trying to have a hit. They were trying to play music that got them off.
Were you up against the hit-making sensibility in the Byrds? Was McGuinn about that?
No, he wasn't about that. He was about good stuff.
Yeah.
We were up against the old establishment. The only reason we got signed to Columbia, actually, we sent them a demo, and they didn't know what to do with that. What the fuck is this?
Really?
Yeah. And so they asked Miles. Miles was on Columbia.
Yeah.
And they said, what is it, Miles? He said, sign him. He told him to sign it. And so they did. But they really had not one clue.
But it's a surprising ally, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, long connection with Miles. Later on, he cut one of my tunes.
Which one?
Guinevere.
He did?
Yeah. Much later on. And I didn't get it. Because he called it Guinevere, but he really, just played like a chord and went for the horizon.
Uh-huh.
It's not recognizably Guinevere. So when he asked me if I wanted to hear it, he walks up to me in New York much later on and said, Hi, I'm Miles. I said, I know who you are. It's a hero of mine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he says, I got one of your tunes. I said, gulp. You, excuse me? You what?
Yeah.
He said, I got one of your tunes. And I said, which one? He said, Guinevere. You want to hear it? I said, yeah, of course I want to hear it.
Yeah.
So he took me up to his house. I mean, he said, follow that car.
Uh-huh.
And this girl who was like legs up to her neck, got in the car, and they drove up to this thing that was, somebody had taken a brownstone and converted it to look like a mini castle.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was living in there. And he played me the tune, and I was really rude. I said, well, man, you could change the name and get all the publishing, because I don't hear Guinevere in there. And he threw me out of the house because he was pissed.
Really?
Yeah. He Miles didn't have a lot of patience with people.
Was that in the 70s, like in that period where he was sort of...
And in the 60s, right in there.
So you couldn't identify any melody?
No.
Huh.
I mean, you listen to it. You tell me. But I was kind of short-sighted. Like, obviously, it was a huge honor that he did it. And I brag about it readily now.
Right.
Well,
I mean, I don't think it's a surprise. You were a little cocky, right?
A little? A little? You kidding me? I had an ego the size of a Mack truck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That comes across.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Good to know. I thought I had it under control. Not a chance.
But I mean, you guys were like, I mean, once Janis started, everybody started to come up. Like what you were interested in was actually slowly becoming what the audiences were interested in.
Yeah.
It must have been very vindicating, and it must have been a good fuck you to the establishment on that level. And there were some record guys that were had enough forethought. Like, who were the guys that championed you? in the biz that enabled all you guys to happen?
Nobody. As in fucking nobody.
Everybody was sort of like, I guess let's see what happens.
Yeah,
so they were rolling the dice.
Yeah, they would pay attention if you had a hit.
Right.
And that was the only thing they would really pay
attention. Mr. Tambourine Man was a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gigantic.
Couldn't deny it.
Yeah. But they really didn't pay attention. The first record people that really actually paid attention to us was a person. It was Ahmet Ertegun. Who ran Atlantic Records. And he was different from all the other guys because he really loved music.
He was like, this guy seems like a real, mystic to me.
He was a great cat, man. His father was ambassador from Turkey.
Yeah.
So he grew up, going back and forth and being in the States a lot, and he was very comfortable in the States, and he loved music. He and that's what we both did. They were jazz guys. And then from that, rhythm and blues guys.
Yeah.
And then they got into the record business.
Yeah.
Ahmet could go to a Ray Charles concert and wind up weeping. I mean, it affected him.
Uh-huh.
He loved music, and he was our mentor.
Oh, yeah?
He had Still signed already because of Buffalo Springfield. So when Still said, I want to do this group with David Crosby and this English guy, and he said, well, okay. And he helped us, do some little trickery and get ourselves on the same label and create CSN.
Well, so you were in the Byrds and you guys you'd run the course with them?
Yeah, they threw me out.
Because?
I was an asshole. A moment of rare clarity. Oops.
Were you upset at the time, or were you?
Yeah, of course I was.
He's a good band.
And I thought I was pretty terrific.
Yeah.
And they thought I was a pain in the ass.
And so you're out of a band, and Steven is in Buffalo Springfield. They only did a couple records.
His band fell apart around him because, again, Neil. See, Neil's always had a through line.
Yeah.
He's always had a plan.
Yeah.
And other people aren't necessarily part of the plan. He will make music with somebody, but he's got a step beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And he.
You think he was conscious of that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I think, I'm not saying that he was mean or anything.
Right.
He just had a plan.
Yeah.
And look at, Neil's bigger than we are.
Right.
By a long shot. He's a huge star.
He seems to stubbornly do his own thing.
He does.
Yeah.
He follows fashion a little bit, but not enough to be bad about it.
Right.
He'll listen a little bit to what's out there, but he doesn't really, he tells you that he doesn't listen to other people at all.
Uh-huh.
When I sent him Cross, the Cross record, he said, "Oh, okay, I'll listen to 2 songs."
It's kind of like
he was a grudging,
Yeah.
Okay, but he's very bright.
Yeah.
And he's very, very much his own guy.
Yeah. But it's interesting, but you guys, so really, when you think about it, I know, obviously, you and McGuinn, probably were friends.
Yeah.
And so now Stills wants out of Buffalo Springfield, or it's falling apart, and him and Neil are childhood friends, but you and Neil meet later, really, right?
Yeah.
So you're not you don't have this long relationship when you do Deja Vu, necessarily, right?
There had been some.
Yeah.
What happened, how that actually went down was, I was sitting on Joni's driveway in Laurel Canyon, and waiting for her to get back, or her, and I think she might already have been switched over from me to Graham.
You both dated her?
Yeah. She was my lady for about a year.
Yeah.
I produced her first record.
Right.
And then she went to Graham.
Yeah.
And then to...
How did that not cause all kinds of bullshit?
Well, because I had already found somebody that I loved, the girl who got killed. And then James Taylor, then Jackson Brown, then there was a list.
Of Joni people.
Yeah. But anyway...
Talented people. Well, she liked singers, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. And I was sitting there waiting, and Neil drove by, and he saw me. And so he turned around, came back, and pulled in. And at this point, we were thinking about how we were going to do going out on the road, CSN. We had the biggest record in the country. And Neil comes up and says, "Hey, want to hear a song?" And I said, "Sure." And he sits down in the trunk of the car with me, and with his guitar, and he sings me "Helpless," God, I don't know, like 3 or 4 songs. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good songs. And blew me away. So I went back to Stephen and Graham and I said, we got to do it. He's got to be the other guy. Because when we'd made the record, Stephen had played keyboard and guitar. That's how he got the Captain Many Hands thing. So we knew that somebody had to be playing guitar while Stephen was playing keyboard, and somebody had to be playing keyboard when he was playing guitar. And Neil was the guy. So
this is after the CSN record and before Deja Vu, and this is heading into what became Four-Way Street?
This was heading into Woodstock.
Oh, okay.
And when he sang me those songs, I had been very iffy about having him there because I knew he wasn't like my buddy.
But he was Steve's buddy, no?
To a degree.
Yeah.
And but I knew how good he was.
Yeah.
I knew how good those songs were, and they were irrefutable.
And you liked his voice?
Relatively. It's not, he wasn't as good a singer as I was,
right.
Or as good as Stephen was, but he could tell the tale.
Yeah.
And the songs were spectacular. And to me, songs have always been the key to the entire deal.
Yeah. So you tell Steve, and Steve what? What does he say?
He says, well, yeah, I was right, wasn't I?
Yeah. And you had played with Steve before as a little bit, right? Before CSN.
In Springfield.
Right. You did. What would you do? A tour with them, or did you do a?
No, Chris Hillman took me down and said, "You got to hear this band. Got to hear them."
Yeah.
And it was Stills and Neil.
Yeah.
And I went, holy fucking shit, this is good shit.
Yeah.
That was how I got turned on to Stephen and Neil both.
And so now you guys start rehearsing for Woodstock?
We started playing together. I don't know if we ever really rehearsed, legitimately.
Yeah.
We would play together,
yeah.
and stuff would happen.
Yeah.
This is so funny to talk through this history stuff because I'm like very foggy about it all because I don't think about it very much.
Is it bothering you?
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, what do I focus on? I focus on what I did last night. I mean,
sure.
We created a new song last night.
You did?
Yeah. James and I, that's why this girl, Tal, is texting me because I tweeted about it this morning. Because she wrote the music and I wrote the words, and but we did a piece of really good work last night. We're working with James is a joy, man.
Your son?
We listen to a lot of the same music. A lot of jazz, a lot of Steely Dan, a lot of more complex singer-songwriter stuff. Johnny.
Mm-hmm. That's a voice that it's almost hard to understand where it came from, isn't it? Joni Mitchell. Like, how does that happen? It's never happened again.
No, I don't know if it will.
Yeah.
And her voice, she shot her voice to shit.
Yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah.
And she's gone through she took a bad hit, man.
Yeah, I know.
Recent.
Yeah. Are you in touch with her?
Distantly, yes.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go by. I have permission to go by.
Yeah.
So I will go by.
Right.
I love her.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do. We can't help it. You can't listen to the album Blue and not love Joni Mitchell.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Not if you have ears on your head. You have to love her. When you get to the end of that record, you say, "Oh, I love that one." So
the new song you're working on, how many tracks? How many people playing?
So far,
yeah.
Just an incredible guitar player named Greg Leese.
Uh-huh.
He's in Jackson's band right now, but he's worked on dozens of records.
You and Jackson tight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I love the guy, man.
Yeah.
He's a terrific cat.
Yeah.
He walked in somewhere back there. He walks into a room at a friend of mine's house who said, "Hey, you got to hear this kid." And he was like 19.
Who's this? The kid?
Jackson.
Yeah.
And he walks into the room, and I said, "Hey, a friend tells me that you write songs." And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Can you sing me some?" And he sat down and he sang me Jamaica, Something Fine, and Adam in a row.
Yeah.
And I went, holy shit, here comes the next wave. It was like, wow. And I sang all those harmonies on his first record.
On Dr. My Eyes?
Well, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
On Something Fine on Jamaica, and a bunch of them.
Well, I remember when someone turned me on to that album, the one that Dr. My Eyes is on it, and they said that you were the back. And I just remember the first time, listening close enough to identify your voice, and I was like, "That is him."
I'm sneaky. Sometimes you can't really tell it's me, but
well, there's a seamlessness to something happens when you sing with certain people, where it becomes one thing.
Yeah.
And
if you're good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's what you try for.
Well, that's great that, you got this great tune.
I got a bunch of them, and I don't understand it, man. This is a very strange thing.
Yeah.
Most people that get to my age, they kind of peter out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a bad turn to phrase.
You can fix that. They have Peter pills.
Yeah, I was afraid. I knew you were going there. Low-hanging fruit. You had to go for it.
I don't know how low it is, David.
Yes.
That's a little too much information.
Jesus Christ. I forgot what I'm dealing with here. Okay.
I'm not always like that. You set me up. It was a softball.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I think they don't peter out, but there's certain things what people want to spend their energy on. Well, I think as they get older, it just changes. Some people are like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
And
also they think that they've said whatever they've got to say.
Right.
Or they're just get lazy.
Sure. Or their brain goes.
Or they get too into the drugs or the booze.
Yeah, that doesn't last. I mean, you're like the outside of the possibilities of living through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to assume that most of the guys that continued that lifestyle that you knew from back in the day are dead.
Yeah. However, what happens is, normally, people get as old as I am, and I am older than dirt.
You're 72?
Let's not even go there.
Uh-huh.
I'm very old. I'm like 92.
Okay, 92, David Crosby. Okay.
So, but what's happened is the last couple of years, about 3 years ago, I decided I wanted to get out of CSN.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was just no forward motion.
In terms of new work?
Yeah, and in terms of, the dynamic between the three of us wasn't good, and it just wasn't exciting for me. It wasn't exciting at all. But you guys could still sell tickets, right? Oh, yeah. And we could still deliver a show that sounded pretty good because Nash and I could still sing harmony really, really well.
Yeah.
Nash is a fantastic harmony singer.
Yeah.
And we do have a magic that we can do.
Well, you did how many albums, just the two of you? Like 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good music.
Yeah.
But anyway, so somewhere about 2 years ago, I started a search. I've always written, in bursts, kind of, and then it'll be an empty part, and then I'll sing write a bunch, and then not. This is like 2 years now of really intense density of writing. It's just really coming a lot. And
do you see the difference? Do you see a wisdom that has evolved, in your writing?
That's for somebody else to say.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel that, but it's not good for me to say that.
Right.
I think I'm doing, since we started CPR, James and I think I've been doing some of the best writing of my life. And the Crosby record, that's good. There's pretty good songs on it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good writing. And it's just gone on. I kept waiting for it to stop. And it hasn't stopped. I've made an entire... You ever hear of a band called Snarky Puppy?
No. Good band?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Great.
Oh.
I don't know why I don't know.
Yeah, well, most people don't know. There's a band called Snarky Puppy. Look them up on YouTube.
Okay.
Blow your mind out your ear. I just finished making a record with Michael League, who's the band leader and composer for that band. And I still had so many songs, I could start another record with my son, James.
But I guess the question becomes for me just impulsively is, for whatever reason, these were not songs that you're like, well, me and Graham should do this, me and Stephen and Graham should do this. No. They were your songs.
The chemistry hasn't been good enough in CSN for a long time for us to want to go in the studio with each other.
Yeah.
A long time. But the songs are there, and they're what I live for.
Right.
And I've been writing a lot with other people. I wrote a really good song with Michael McDonald recently.
How's he doing?
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
He's one of the only guy who can sing better than him is Stevie Wonder.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he is spectacular. spectacular.
His voice holding up?
Michael's voice is holding up.
Does he? What do they? Does he tour solo? Are the Doobies going again?
No, he doesn't want to work with them. But
you guys in your bands.
Yeah. He's fantastic. We wrote a really good song together. I've written songs. I found this girl when I was doing a benefit record with Snarky Puppy. I found this girl, Becca Stevens, who's excellent. She's got a new record called Perfect Animal. And man, this girl has her own take on singer-songwriter. She's really good. Wrote a great song with her. I think I'm writing a song with Donald Fagen. I think I'm writing a song with Van Dyke Parks. I think I'm writing a song with...
What does that mean? That you've had a couple of emails and you've thrown some...
It means I've sent him words. And we'll see how it turns out. I like writing with other people. I write with my son constantly, and I write with this guy, Michael League, constantly. Michael came to my house, man, we wrote 3 songs in 3 days. Bam! Really good ones. They're on my computer.
How do you know when I've never written a song. How does it work, dude? I mean, like...
Every which way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you start with words, or do you play, or?
That's funny. That's the most frequent question I get asked on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What comes first? And the answer is everything. It happens every possible way it could happen. Here's the thing. You have to be open to it. You can't legislate it into being. You can, but it's not very good. You can say, okay, I want to write a song about the Eiffel Tower. It's big and it's tall and it's made out of iron, which is my tendency to go too directly at it that way. Yeah. But that's not it. That's kind of like trying to force the issue. What you can do is pick up the guitar or sit down at the piano or have a pad and pencil or a computer and sort of go, okay, I'm ready. Yoo-hoo. Are you out there? And see what comes. Right. I fool around in these tunings every day. I pick up the guitar in a strange tuning and I try to find new shit. And I do every time. Every time.
How many tunings you working with?
Oh, maybe 10.
Yeah. Wow.
At least.
So you have 5 or 6 guitars all tuned different? Hanging around?
Yeah, in the bedroom. Yeah, on the wall, on stands, everywhere. A bunch of them. And so when I find something, I noodle with it, and it becomes the music of a song. One of the best things that happened to me about songwriting was Joni Mitchell said to me, "Write that down." And I said, "What?" She said, "You just said something really good." Yeah. You do that all the time. You toss off, conversationally, other people would work something months to get, and you forget about it. If you don't write it down, it didn't happen. Yeah. Brilliant phrase. Yeah. Brilliant truth. So I started writing it down. So I have these scraps, millions of scraps. And I'll pick them up and look at them. I'll look at a line and say, well, that's actually a pretty good line. Maybe that needs to go, and bam, I'm off and running. Right. But every day, I make a space for it. I work at it. I don't take it for granted. And I don't try to, just create it by the pound. The song has to mean something to me. It has to take you on some kind of voyage, affect you in some way. Yeah. And I love it. I love playing live, but I really love making songs up.
And now there's technology to where you can almost do a studio record at your son's house.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I have. We don't have any money. Yeah. We don't have a record company giving us a big budget or anything. We made Craw's record on the grocery money. We couldn't have done it if James hadn't had a studio in his house and hadn't been really brilliant at it.
And but that's the world we live in now. Yeah. I imagine having survived, I can't imagine after Deja Vu what was offered to you. it must have been pretty spectacular.
Yeah, we were able to go in and do Wretched Excess.
Yeah.
Go to the studio for months at a time, order gigantic meals, take all afternoon to fool around with one thing, spend a lot of time getting stoned and laughing. And we didn't care. It's somebody else's money. Oh, it's actually our money, but we didn't really pay attention.
You didn't know that, yeah.
No,
it's coming out. Yeah.
No, it's like we're having fun. I don't do that. I can't do that. I don't have the money. I don't have very much money at all in my life. But it's not why I came to the party.
Right.
I didn't come to be a star. I didn't come to be rich. I didn't come to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. I came to.
But you did get all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
Sure. I get it.
They weren't my raison d'etre.
Was it the same with all yous? I mean, was it like, did Graham and Stephen feel the same way?
You from the East Coast?
A little bit. Family's from Jersey.
All yous?
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it switches up.
Come see, I heard it.
My family's from Jersey, but I pick up things. Yeah. You got me.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the Jersey roots.
Yeah, well, that's good with me.
Was it everybody's intention just to make good music?
No.
Yeah.
No.
But it wasn't. You guys weren't making easy music.
No.
There's nothing really on Deja Vu or even on CSN that was like, this is going to be a pop hit.
No. We didn't. I've never had a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in bands that had big hits.
Right.
Lots of them. But I've never had one. And for the most part, I don't think that's what we were aiming to do.
Uh-huh.
Maybe, we were certainly happy about it with the Byrds. We were trying to get on the radio. But
how did Woodstock go?
I can't remember.
I can't even imagine what it would have been like walking into that.
And we didn't walk in. We
flew in in a chopper.
Yeah, there's some significant stuff about what happened there that really gets missed.
Yeah.
Everybody gets off on how big it was or how significant it was,
right,
or a generation coming of age,
yeah,
or a generation finding out that they existed,
yeah,
suddenly seeing themselves. There was some other stuff.
Yeah.
There's never been a gathering that large that I know about where nobody got murdered, nobody got robbed, nobody got raped.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So there was something going on.
Uh-huh.
Some sense of community, some sense of brotherhood, some sense of something going on. I remember seeing a girl walking barefoot in the mud, cut her foot badly. I remember a highway patrolman walking over to her and picking her up and carrying her to his car. And then I watched about 15 hippies push the car out of the mud. And I said, wait a minute, that's working.
Yeah.
This is a step up. I remember feeling really good right at that minute. Because cops were our enemy,
mm-hmm,
and to see that all go away for a second, there was something there. There was something, I hesitate to say spiritually, but there was something happening between the human beings there that I have not seen anywhere else. And you can't recreate it. They tried to at Altamont. Whoa, what a mistake. You can't really do anything twice. Whatever you do is going to be a different thing than, no matter how much you try to copy the first thing that happened,
sure, the
second thing that happens is going to be different.
And also, did you stay for the whole thing?
Yeah.
I just recently saw footage of people that I didn't even because I'm always a little late to the party, but I just recently watched Tim Hardin at Woodstock.
Good songwriter. The really funny shit is that a bunch of people, because the Woodstock people who were making the movie, the Mazel's brothers, didn't have any money to pay you.
Right.
A lot of people wouldn't consent to be in the movie.
Right.
A lot of people made a huge mistake. Neil Young for one. Grateful Dead for another. Jefferson Airplane for another. They weren't in the movie. Because their managers or they thought, well, wait a minute, where's the cash? And they didn't realize it was going to be a gigantic hit, and that being in it was worth far more than any cash that they could have gotten.
And didn't Hendrix go on at some weird time? Like,
yeah, he went on like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. Time took a vacation there.
Yeah.
For a while.
Were you close with him?
Yeah, relatively, yeah. I liked the guy a lot. He was much quieter and much nicer than you would think, seeing him being flamboyant on stage.
Sure.
But if his hand could touch the keyboard, he could play anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
He could play Bach. He could play Babies Crying. He could play a war.
Yeah.
He could play, planets
wild.
colliding. And it didn't matter what it was. He could make it happen if that one hand could touch that keyboard.
The one thing I don't talk to a lot of people about, like James Taylor was in here, and he's very,
yeah, James.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people.
Well, it was just one of these things where he was very candid about the struggle with heroin. Like, he laid it out.
He's a program guy, so he's really honest.
Right. Right.
That's what they taught us. You go in those rooms and they tell you that the way to deal with it is
be honest.
Is be honest, look at it very straight on, and then set it down.
Right, but he don't have to do that publicly. I was just nice because I'm a program guy that he was able to do it, and
he's been that way from the get-go, man. He's a very honest, very high ground human being.
Yeah.
He's one of the people I admire most in the whole business. And I'm so happy he made that record. That last record was so good.
It was good. The newest one?
Man, awesome record.
It's kind of wild, because, you wonder, what's that guy be doing? And he's like, he's been doing great stuff just like he always has.
Hey, man, it was a #1 record. It's the first one he's ever had.
The last one?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
He's as old as I am.
Yeah.
And that was a big encouragement to me.
Yeah.
I see him, functioning on the very highest level, writing superb songs, singing incredibly well, playing better than anybody. Nobody can play in that style as well as he does.
Yeah.
And I admire him tremendously. He's been a friend for a long time, and I really love him.
Well, it was beautiful.
We've sung with him a bunch. Mexico.
Yeah.
That's me and Nash.
Yeah.
Lighthouse.
Yeah.
We've sung with him a bunch of times.
Well, it's a perfect match in a way, right?
Yeah.
Well, but I guess my point is that one thing that people don't talk about intimately, and I touched on it with Neil a little bit, but it was in passing, and just being as we are, program guys, is just that how hard that generation of performers got laid out by fucking dope. And by, and that people, they glorify it or romanticize it, but it must have been horrible to not be able to help anybody. You can't help anybody.
It was horrifying. And it didn't just screw us up, it killed us.
Yeah,
one time, Mark, I took this page, one of those double yellow legal tablets, big ones like this.
Yeah.
I took one of those and I started writing down, I think I started with Cass.
Yeah.
And then I wrote Jimmy.
Cass Elliot?
Yeah. Close friend.
Yeah.
Real good human being.
Uh-huh.
Then I wrote Hendrix, then I wrote Janice. These are all my friends.
Yeah.
And I was getting close to the end of the second page when I finally stopped because I couldn't stand it anymore.
Of people who passed?
Yeah. It killed us, man. Dope killed us.
Yeah.
Cocaine and heroin just freaking killed us. And, our experience coming into it, we'd been smoking pot and taking psychedelics, and they didn't do any harm to you.
Right.
Unless you were already psycho.
Right.
Then taking acid, probably not a good idea.
Right.
But I remember, people telling me, cocaine's not addictive. You can just, which is utter nonsense. It's the most addictive substance on the planet.
Yeah.
And it destroyed us.
Yeah.
It just shot us down in rows.
Well, a lot of people were doing the coke and then doing the dope to take you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic thing.
Yeah. So, but it seems like, out of the bunch of you, just in terms of CSN land, that you were the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went down to tubes of cocaine, and then I found out you could smoke it.
Smoke coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when it really got grubby.
Yeah.
That's the quickest, nastiest slide to the bottom there is freebasing.
And were you doing dope too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, both. And which, believe me, trying to kick cocaine and heroin in a Texas prison cell is not fun.
Well, here's a good question, and this is the weird question, because, being recovered, as we are, that, you don't know at the time that, if someone's in that, there's nothing you can fucking do to stop them. So you're a guy that...
You can set an example.
Right, but I mean, but
that's
when
the
you're...
one thing you can.
When you're spiraling, like at the time, I mean, you were still, on and off the road with CSN, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you were an older dude. You were in your 40s, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you'd made it through your 20s and 30s having a good time.
I was going downhill very rapidly, and there were people tried to help. The intention was there. Jackson and my pal Carl Gottlieb and Nash and some other people tried to do an intervention with me.
Were you just holed up, like in your house,
I was
paranoid and fucking losing?
Yeah, it was a mess. And very little higher consciousness still available to me, which was very bad.
Yeah.
Then I went to prison.
You got busted in Texas. What were you doing in Texas to begin with?
Playing.
Solo?
Yeah. And I went to prison and it was horrifying. Hey, rock star, how are you? You look terrible. Bet you wish you weren't here now, huh? Hey, look, rock star sick again. Some bitch, ain't that grand? Really? It was horrible. Didn't they have any meetings in the prison?
But was there any respect for you, or were
None.
they?
Zero.
It was probably the opposite.
Yeah, it worked against me. But I got through it, and the point is that it takes what it takes, as you well know.
Sure.
It takes whatever it
Jails, institutions, and death.
Yeah, and so that's what it took. And I don't regret it. I don't regret that year. It saved my life.
I just remember those pictures. I remember when it first happened, when you first got busted, they had the before and then after where they cut all your hair off.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I'm here.
Did people come see you in prison?
Carl did. My friend Carl.
Yeah.
He did. I don't think anybody else did. Carl's the one who wrote my autobiography, the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one. There's two of them.
Yeah.
Long Time Gone, and then later on another one called Since Then, which are remarkably honest books, partly because they taught me to be honest about it, and so I was. Other people's biographies have been notably lacking in that quality.
But what about the guns? Why were you carrying guns around?
Where I came from?
Yeah.
Like when I moved out of L.A., we moved up to a farm in Carpinteria. Yeah. And when you turn 12, you got a 22. And,
sure.
That was just part of it.
I get it. I just wondered if it was paranoia or you were
it was after a while. Yeah. But I was raised with a whole different viewpoint about it was just part of life.
Right. Sure.
Being a rifleman was a normal thing.
Yeah.
So then the Manson thing happened. And that was a half a mile away from my house at Terry Meltzer's house.
Who you knew?
He was one of the producers of the Birds.
Terry was.
I'd been to that house. And about a half mile from my house.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not okay. I'm getting a 12 gauge.
Did you know of Manson previous?
No.
He wasn't around?
Never met him.
Yeah.
Well, grateful I didn't.
It was horrible.
Don't want to get any of that on you. But, yeah, that's where the guns came from. I did get scared about it, and I got more scared when they shot John Lennon. But it's guns is a funny thing. It's not the gun.
Yeah.
It's the nut behind the wheel.
Sure. I agree.
It's. I know a lot of people would like it to be the gun because that makes it external.
Right.
But the problem's internal.
Sure.
And I don't understand why we have the problem of violence that we do in the United States. Because here, and this is an interesting thing, I was ready to put it down to the cultural matrix.
Yeah.
To people see. You see somebody get shot every 10 minutes on TV. Mm-hmm. Constantly. Mm-hmm. It's all about that. Movies and TV are just constant gun violence.
Yeah.
However, the Canadians watch the same TV and the same movies, and they don't have anywhere near the rate.
No, absolutely.
Not even close.
No.
So
and there's hunting guns around in Canada.
There's tons of guns in Canada,
yeah.
And they don't have anywhere near the rate
yeah.
that we do. And they're watching the same TV and the same movies. So that kind of discounts my theory that it was cultural matrix. You know, I've debated back and forth about this with people over and over and over and again. And I think it's just something you have to work out for yourself. You know, I don't think, I know this. If they made guns illegal, it wouldn't work. Because they're in 2/3 to 3/4 of the houses in the United States of America, and nobody's going to give them up. They will all tell you the same thing I would, which is you first.
Yeah.
And they're not going to.
But you lived through, like, there was definitely, I mean, were you guys at Altamont?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, that was that was sort of, between Manson and Altamont, that was sort of the end of it.
Yeah, you know, it was a nadir, a low point, no question. It was, you know what went wrong with Altamont? It was very simple. The Grateful Dead management who put that show on, they put that show together.
Was that Bill Graham?
No.
It was
it was their management.
Oh, okay.
They hired the Hells Angels to be the security.
Yeah.
Now, I'm the only one that defended the Hells Angels afterwards.
Yeah.
Everybody else was, oh, they're terrible Hells Angels, and they shot that guy, oh, they killed him, and knifed him, it's so terrible. So the biggest radio station in San Francisco calls me up.
Yeah.
And says, what do you think, Dave? And I said, you know what? If you don't want the tiger to eat your lunch guests, don't invite the tiger to lunch.
Right.
These are Hells Angels. They fight.
Yeah.
It's what they do. Yeah. You know, it's part of their life. It's a normal thing for them to fight. So if you invite them in, give them a job they don't know how to do, and put them in confrontational situation, there's going to be a fight. Mm-hmm. And you're stupid if you don't know that in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I blamed the situation in the management completely, publicly. And for a long time, there was a picture of me on the wall in the Oakland Mother chapter.
We like Dave.
Hey, well, you know, I told it like it was.
Yeah.
Can I say?
This guy's not on the hit list.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But it seems to me that, like, you know, a lot of your musical development, as you came into your own, really revolved around that San Francisco scene.
Yeah, it did.
That sort of improvisational and jazz-driven element that was part of Jerry and part of, you know, who else up there? But it just seemed the looseness of it. The real hippie ideal of what music could be with adventure was there.
It was about being open to, you know, stretching the envelope.
Yeah.
And going for new stuff. And they were all wide open to it.
And did you stay friends with them all the way? Are you still friends with the Dead guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You and Phil talk, you share liver stories?
Yeah, we do. Phil's an anomaly, man. He's a completely unusual human being, and I like him a lot.
Smart guy.
Yeah, I like Bob. I like Mickey. I like, you know, all of them. They're all good cats.
But you probably knew Pigpen too, then, right?
I met him, yeah.
But
I didn't get to know him the way I got to know the other guys, because he was the first of the many keyboard players they lost.
Right. I know, it's weird, right?
It's totally weird.
Yeah. Keith.
Yeah. I mean, it was like every once in a while, oh, our keyboard player exploded.
Yeah, right. It's like Spinal Tap, yeah. But you found freedom in that environment in the Bay Area.
Enormously.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give a shit about show business. Mm-hmm. And that really resonated with me. It's
so funny because, like, you know, as CSN, as you guys got older, you were definitely a show business act.
No kidding. And that's what got me to want to get out of the band.
But also you knew, though, like, if a couple of years went by and things got a little lean, it's like, well, let's go do a couple of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will be right with it. Turn the smoke machine on. Yeah, I'll do Almost Cut My Hair again. No problem. Want me to sing it twice? Yeah, no, I was right there. It's the path of least resistance, man. It's like, it's a thing, it's a devolving thing that happens to all bands. Mm-hmm. I call it the turn on the smoke machine and play your hits thing. And it's the excitement in a band that's a new band when you're playing new music and you're exciting to people and it's a joy to do it.
Yeah.
That fades.
Yeah. It does.
And at a certain point, you should go on to the next thing.
Right.
Which I was forced to do a couple of times and chose to do a couple other times. And truthfully, man, I'm very proud of the work that I did there. I'm very proud of the work that we did there. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to have anything to do with it. It's not, there's no forward motion. There's no room to stretch.
Right.
And I need that.
Sure, and also you need to sort of like now, like given that you are where you're at economically and you are where you're at creatively, but you do have the tools and the resources and the compassion and energy to just continue creating. Why not just do it?
Why not do it?
Yeah.
Truthfully, the biggest thing that being a success gives you is access to the tools. And you don't know that going in. You think it's getting laid or being famous is really a pain in the ass. And our culture in the United States is aimed at service rather than substance. And the surface stuff, this whole thing that's going on now where people are just famous for being famous.
Yeah.
What's the name of those idiots? Kanye West married one of them.
Kardashians?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did they create?
I don't know.
Nothing. Who did they help?
I couldn't even identify them in a picture.
Who did they help?
Yeah.
No one. What have they brought to society? What have they, what positive force have they been? None. Nothing. They are nothing. They are nothing. Mm-hmm. And they're famous for being famous. It's all about celebrity. That's what TMZ's about.
Yeah.
The most surface thing in the world. It's nonsense. It's just total crap. I have no patience for it at all. I have no patience for Kanye West. I think the guy's a total poser.
I like a couple of his records.
Well, everybody makes mistakes.
I think he's kooky, but at least he's put some things out in the world that were good. They're,
bad percussive poetry done to other people's music.
Okay. Okay.
It's not that look, the guy who did Hamilton, he can rap.
Lin-Manuel, that's a great show.
Did you see what he did? I think it was on.
I didn't. I got to watch that. It was on. Was it on Colbert?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
The rap that he did about Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
It will knock your dick in the dirt.
I saw the show recently.
You can't believe how good it was.
He's a sweet, creative man. That guy.
Well,
it's a great show. Did you see the show?
Goddamn good at what he does.
Yeah.
I did not see the show.
That's great.
I am noted for not liking rap music.
Right.
And that's my son did that to me. My younger son, Django. Forced me to look at, and now I listen to somebody like this Lynn guy, and it's undebatable. There isn't any question that he.
You got to see that show. You'd love that show.
I would. You can't deny that.
Sure, of course not.
It's real shit.
Well, everybody's doing what they do. There's room for everybody who's being creative.
There is, and I shouldn't rag on the entire. It's like saying all Chinese are bad drivers or something, because it's really nonsense. No group of people bigger than 100.
It's a little old guy stuffy for an open-minded dude.
It isn't open-minded. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Because if you get 100 human beings, they got everything in there from axe murderers to angels.
Sure.
And that's true of every possible conglomeration of human beings. There's a spread there.
Yeah.
There's people I don't want to have anything to do with and I think are dumb.
But the truth is, the beauty of it is that, people can put their shit out in the world relatively inexpensively, exactly the way they want it, and either people will come or they won't. And that's not horrible. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So now what we've come to is that so you're happy with the stuff you're doing now? Oh,
very happy.
CSN is not going to do any more shit.
Well, that's what Nash says.
Okay.
Stills and I haven't said a word.
Okay. Are you friendly with Stills still?
Yeah, relatively. We've been together 40 years.
I know.
How much bro do you think there is left? It's like you grate on each other's nerves. We are very different human beings. We have different agendas and different values.
Sure.
All three of us. And Nash has publicly announced, that CSN is over. He's never going to do it again, ever. I think mostly just because it's the only thing he can say that will get attention, and he needs the attention. He's got a record out there.
Uh-huh. Well, we'll see what happens with all that, but so you're not saying never.
No, I never do.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
If Neil called, and Neil said there's never going to be any more CSNY too. But if Neil called Stephen and me and Graham and says, okay, so all right, maybe we should. I'd probably do it if there was music there. Mm-hmm. If everybody could bring some music.
Do you like singing with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there has to be some music there.
Are you sailing anymore?
No, so sad. So sad. I had a boat for 50 years, and I loved that boat. And last year, I had to pretend to be a grown-up for a minute.
Yeah.
Which, there was a rumor I was going to grow up.
Uh-huh.
It didn't pan out.
No. You seem almost grown up.
Nearly, sometimes.
Yeah,
nearly.
Yeah.
What happened is, I got my boat to be pretty perfect. I had it about 50 years, sailed it all over the Pacific, all over the Caribbean, through the canal a bunch of times. And it's just been a big part of my life. A big sanity factor, big health factor, big spiritual factor for me. Last year, it was in very, very good shape, and I knew that I couldn't keep it that way. Mm. I don't make enough money to do that. And that's hard. I met a guy, wanted the boat, had millions and millions and millions of dollars, could keep it perfect, could keep her in perfect shape, and he knew what she was.
Yeah.
He knew that she was an Alden schooner. He's a schooner sailor. He knew how beautiful she was. He knew exactly what her value and in the world was.
Yeah.
And I had to sell it. And I regret it. I miss her every day.
Will he let you use it?
No, he'd take me sailing on it. But you can't really go backwards on that.
Yeah.
It's I haven't been sailing since then because it's just pretty painful.
Would you go out alone and sail?
No, I'm not really into sailing alone. I like sailing with other people because I like sailing bigger boats.
Yeah.
Big sailboats.
Need a crew.
You got to have a crew.
Where are you at now, health-wise?
Well, I'm old.
No, I know.
I've been through a lot.
92, right?
Yeah, 92.
Yeah.
And well, pretty well considering. I mean, I had hepatitis C.
That's gone.
That's gone. They finally came up with a cure at $1,000 a pill, ladies and gentlemen.
How many pills do you need?
If you think Big Pharma is your friend, consider that one.
So you had to treat that after the liver transplant or before?
Yeah.
After.
They treated it with the transplant, which really was just a hair's breadth away from dying.
Ugh.
So that's done. I'm diabetic, which is a rough one. That'll probably get me. I've had a couple of heart attacks. That's probably going to get me. I really try to stay as healthy as I can, but I mostly try to celebrate the fact that I am breathing right now.
Yeah. And you sing and you write songs. And you work with, I know you did stuff with a lot of people, but you did some fairly recent work with David Gilmour?
Yeah. Yeah. I like David a lot.
Yeah.
He's one of my most favorite musicians. He's a fantastic guitar player.
No, really wild, yeah.
Unbelievable. His tone, his touch, spectacular. And he's a nice man.
Yeah. And you sing with him? Yeah,
I sung with him and done shows with him. I sang with him here at the Hollywood Bowl.
I missed that show.
That was big fun.
Yeah.
Big
and
fun.
Phil Collins is a friend, right?
Yeah.
He got you a liver?
Yeah, he helped. We did it. We wrote a song together called Hero, which was as close as I came to having a radio hit. He produced it, and we sang it together and stuff. And it's real good. Phil's an incredible singer.
Yeah.
He's got problems being able to play drums now because he's got problems with his hands, but he's still one of the great singers.
And you are a Hall of Famer for 2 bands.
Yeah.
That's...
Should be 3.
Yeah?
Yeah, because CSNY is a totally different band.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally different. You add Neil Young to the mix, and you just added nitroglycerin.
Uh-huh.
It's not the same band as Crosby, Stills and Nash at all.
But you seem to have, despite personal, history, you seem to have a lot of respect for everybody, for him anyways.
I do. If you look back over the work we did, which is really the only thing that counts, is the songs.
Yeah.
We did some good work.
4-Way Street's pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's some really fine work there.
And I'm sorry, I keep saying the name of your solo record wrong. If I could only remember my name. That do you know that record has been resurrected by hipsters as being?
Yeah, it's kind of what do they call it? A cult classic? Yeah, people love it. It has a vibe.
And it was a gold record though, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's like a hit.
Yeah, kind of. That's not a radio hit.
That doesn't exist anymore. There's no more radio hits.
I guess. I don't know. It's funny to watch how the business changed. The biggest change was that the record companies didn't know what the word digital meant. Mm-hmm. They had no idea. They thought it was a different kind of cassette.
Right.
Right. It's like, it's like going from 8-track to cassette, right?
No. Got away from them.
Digital, analog, that was a little beyond their capacity to understand. So, analog, for those of you out there who don't know what we're talking about, Mark knows, but here's the deal. Analog, you make a copy, it loses something. It's called going down a generation. You do it again, you lost another generation. By the time you make the 10th copy, it's useless. By the time you make the 1,000th copy of a digital, it's exactly the same.
But there's problems with that.
Well, the problem is that the record companies didn't understand it, and as soon as you put out a CD, people can make 1,000 copies of it, and they're exactly the same.
And also the integrity of the spectrum of sound is bad. They were compromised.
It used to be.
Yeah.
Digitally now, digital, you can get it up to the same quality if you slice it fine enough.
Yeah. If
you get a high res, 24-bit 192, that's good shit.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Uncut.
You and I both like vinyl, and I mean, it has a quality to it. Vinyl has a certain way that it approaches you, and I like that.
Yeah.
But digital, if you get high-res digital, it's terrific. If you're using MP3s, I'm sure Neil went here. He hates MP3s.
No, he's selling his new thing, Pono.
Pono, I have one.
Yeah.
There's one in my bag right out there.
Yeah.
It's a high-res player.
You like it, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I have every member of my family has one. They're really good.
Yeah.
But the record companies just flat didn't understand it, and then things went downhill from there. The streaming services are an abomination. They're totally wrong, totally bad.
Mm-hmm.
If Spotify, if you played one of my tunes on Spotify 10,000 times, I could buy you lunch.
Well, they're not paying the artist is a shitty thing.
Yeah, it is, because how the hell do you think other people are going to be artists if they look at it and say, well, I can't even make a living. I couldn't even put my kids in school. How are you going to do it?
If someone's making money.
Someone is.
They actually, the motherfuckers that were screwing musicians to begin with have now evolved into digital fucking.
Yeah, bigger motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people fighting back.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really crappy situation. I just signed a letter that my pal Walsh sent me that Don Henley generated.
Joe?
Yeah, Joe's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a solid human being. He's one of my favorite people in the whole music business. He's a good friend.
Good songwriter.
Oh, excellent songwriter, excellent player, excellent singer, and a totally great guy.
That's good. Sober, too.
Yeah, and you want to talk to him, because he will crack your ass totally up.
Yeah.
He invited me out to Santa Cruz Island a couple of weeks ago. He's on the board of the Conservancy out there.
Yeah.
And we spent a couple of days out there just laughing our asses off. He's a wonderful
He seems
cat.
like a good guy. Everyone has good things to say about him.
Oh, no, he's a wonderful cat. I remember when we recorded Day Drunk.
Yeah.
And I loved watching him blossom the way he does. He and Richie married two sisters, right?
Richie.
Starkey.
Yeah.
Ringo.
Yeah.
So they married two sisters.
Yeah.
And they're both sober.
Yeah.
And they hang out together.
Yeah.
The two sisters and Joe and Richie. And so we went to Joe did a favor for the LA County Museum of Art.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a benefit and somebody wouldn't show, so he plugged in and covered it. So they owe him. And Richie can't go to the museum during open hours.
Well, he'll be flocked.
Look, it's Ringo! My God!
Yeah.
So they let him go afterwards.
Uh-huh.
And the three of us and our wives all went.
Mm-hmm.
And we laughed ourselves silly.
Yeah.
We had more fun at that museum together. It was a great night. And we had dinner there afterwards. It was a joy. Joe's somebody you want to talk to.
I'd like to talk to him.
I'll put a plug in for you.
Okay, that'd be great. Well, it's amazing about talking to you, and even like when we talked on the phone a week or so ago, was that like your spirit is fully intact. Given how far you dragged it, how much you almost tried to kill it, and your ego seems in check, and you have a vitality that is rare in people of any age, and it was beautiful to talk to you.
Well, I'm lucky that I've got a great family, and I've got a fantastic job. So believe me, I enjoy talking to you. If you want to do it again, I'll do it again. This is fun. We haven't even covered half the shit we could talk about. Like we haven't talked about nuclear power.
Yeah. Well, you're against it.
Oh, totally. Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
No. Yeah, I was kidding.
Well, I mean, no.
Yeah.
I mean, human beings make mistakes.
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
B. We have no place to put the waste.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Zero. We have no way to deal with the waste.
Yeah.
And C. Mother Nature can knock down anything we can build.
That's true.
And in California, she's gonna.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
That's the funny thing is that humans might not survive, but Mother Nature will be fine.
Yeah, she'll handle it. She'll handle it.
She can absorb. She can take the hit.
Giant cockroaches.
Big ones.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a pretty world after we're done.
No, but it'll be here.
Yeah.
I want us to grow up and go out into space and find out who's in the neighborhood. That's my dream.
All right. Well, maybe they'll actually, you've got the new liver. Maybe they'll figure out a way before you check out to take the brain and make you expand your consciousness that way.
I'd do it in a second. I'd be a brain chip in a second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet. Right.
Oh, hell yes.
Well, you said it here, folks. If anyone's out there working on that, David Crosby's available for brain chipping.
Yeah. We need that spaceship.
Yeah.
And we need it now.
Okay. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
That was David Crosby and myself chatting. Lovely man. I even like just looking at David Crosby across the table with his white hair and white David Crosby mustache. It's almost like he invented that mustache. And that hair to some degree. Don't forget, watch the over-the-top Beverly Hills real estate agents at Platinum Realty sell houses to the rich and famous on bajillion-dollar properties, starring Paul F. Tompkins and guest stars like Zach Galifianakis, Nick Kroll, Casey Wilson, Patton Oswalt, and Weird Al Yankovic. All episodes of Bajillion Dollar Property Season 2 are available now on CISO. Head over to SEESO.com and start your free trial. New users can use promo code Maron and get 2 months free. CISO is available on your favorite devices, anytime, anywhere, completely ad-free. Also, we've got something special for you on Wednesday. A brand new Mark and Tom show with me and Tom Sharpling. If you subscribe to WTF, you'll get it Wednesday morning, so enjoy that. Me and Mr. Sharpling chatting as the lights dim. That's a mortality reference. We're okay. We're not. We're middle. I'm older than him. It doesn't matter. We're just trying to figure shit out. You want me to play some redundant guitar? Boomer lives! In the front of thousands, singing. Just a human with a voice. Great guy. I might have to, maybe someday we'll talk again. He seemed to want to hang out. I thought he might move in. Kidding. It's a joke, David. It's a joke. I love talking to you, so I'm going to share it with the people right now. This is me and the legendary David Crosby. You can turn the bird off? Do you know how?
Yes, I am, but I'm going to tell my wife where the garage is first, because she'll get here and not know what to do. I'll get her to text me when she gets here.
There you go. But then we're going to have to deal with that noise the whole time.
No, I'm going to turn the noise off.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave the phone where I can see it.
Got it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oof. I literally thought you were making that noise, and I thought, that's this weird David Crosby thing. He just makes bird noises occasionally. I was very impressed.
R2D2 ringtone.
Okay. So the fella that dropped you off, that's your son.
That's one of my sons.
One of your sons.
That's the oldest one, yeah. That's James.
And there it is. And you, from what relationship was that, David?
One of a number.
Yeah.
What? I was kind of irresponsible, man. I don't want to say I was trying to like wear it off. But I was like trying to. Jesus, there's got to be a euphemism I can use here.
Get as much in as possible.
Yeah, something like that. That's even more graphic than I was going to be, but yeah, okay.
Live life.
To the fullest.
Yeah.
And, his mom put him up for adoption, and
you were part of that choice?
No.
Oh, that just happened. You were alerted of that later. Right.
And I knew he existed.
Right.
I didn't know where.
And so you reunited.
Well, yeah, you can't track from the parent down, only from the kid up, right? So I didn't know where he was, and I wondered about him, and I tortured myself about it, thinking, oh, God, he's, cold and hungry and living in a dumpster, and normal things that you torture yourself.
Sure.
And so then I'm in the hospital.
With which ailment?
I'm dying of hepatitis C, and I'm very close to dying.
Yeah.
Very close.
This is before the liver?
This was the liver.
Okay.
And so I'm about a week away from dying. They finally got a match and they transplant me. And all of a sudden, it's a really strange thing. You go from being sicker each day, dying, and you can feel the system's collapsing, right? It's like a house of cards.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they operate on you, and all of a sudden now you're not sick. You're wounded.
Yeah.
And you're getting better every day.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky it took, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
Yeah.
It's kind of science fiction. But anyway, I'm getting bags.
Yeah.
Like Santa Claus bags.
Yeah.
Of mail.
Yeah.
They're bringing them in every day.
Yeah.
In the middle of those, there's a
letter of a seasoned cynic with his time-worn refrain, don't read the comments, which is when the light bulb came on, so to speak, because I had already been primed for the idea because Mark and Margot were talking about collaborating on a song. I didn't know if it was a good fit, and I played with the idea until the end of the podcast. 10 minutes later, when Margot sang Desperate and Depressed, it was then that I realized I wanted to write this email. So there it is. Don't read the comments. A duet sung by Marc Maron and Margot Price. I don't feel like I should elaborate any more than that. Either you get it or you don't, I guess, except to say the challenge here seems to be not make it sound like a parody-type Weird Al kind of song, right? To make it sound authentic and not synthetic. Anyways, food for thought. Keep up the good fight. WTF. Your podcast makes my job raking leaves as I try to finish my first novel somewhat more bearable. Sam. All right, Margot Price, if you're listening, it's not a challenge, but I think it's a solid idea. I'm going to be in Nashville soon. I don't know if you're going to be there. Yeah, I could just text you this, but why not make it public? Why not make this public? I'll scribble some stanzas. You do too. We'll go basic country, 3 chords, maybe with some sort of chorus. Maybe with a refrain that might throw in a minor chord or something. But I'm ready to work on this. I'm ready to work on Don't Read the Comments by Margot Price and Marc Maron. I'm just putting that out there. Neither one of us need it, but I think it would be fun. I can sing a little bit. All right? You hear me, Margot? Do you hear me? Hey, I want everyone who's hiring to listen up. If you need to find the right person for a job, it can be pretty overwhelming. You can't just post your job in one place if you want to find the best candidates, right? And if you're going to post your job on multiple sites, you're going to want a way to keep track of all the applicants, right? Now you can post your job on more than 100 job sites with ZipRecruiter.com. You'll also post to social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 1 million businesses. And right now, WTF listeners post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/Maron. That's ZipRecruiter.com/MARON. Did a lovely charity event last night. Seth Rogen asked me to do a 10-minute spot on his hilarity for charity. Alzheimer's benefit was me and Jen Kirkman and Morgan Murphy and James Corden was there, and Courtney Love was there, and Snoop Dogg closed the thing out. There was dancing. It's nice when dancers are employed. I like seeing dancers. I don't see enough dancing. How amazing is it when you see somebody who's a pro up there doing whatever it is they do, right? David Crosby, for instance. This guy stood... Hey folks, today's episode is sponsored by MeUndies. MeUndies only cares about making the most comfortable underwear you've ever experienced. I wear MeUndies and they make the whole day better, because when you feel good, your day is good. MeUndies delivers your new favorite pair of underwear right to your door. Better day guaranteed. You can only get them on the MeUndies website with free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. Everyone listening to this gets 20% off their first order. Go to MeUndies.com/WTF. That's 20% off your first order. MeUndies.com/WTF. We're also sponsored by CISO. And right now, CISO has season 2 of Bajillion Dollar Properties, the show that makes fun of those real estate TV shows so you don't have to. Paul F. Tompkins leads the over-the-top Beverly Hills real estate agents at Platinum Realty, selling houses to the rich and famous with stars like Zach Galifianakis, Nick Kroll, Busy Phillips, Jack McBrayer, and Dave Foley. All episodes of Bajillion Dollar Properties Season 2 are available now only on CISO. Go to SEESO.com and start your free trial. New users can use promo code Maron to get 2 months free. Let's do the show.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fucksters, what the fuckineers, what's happening? I'm Marc Maron. This is WTF. This is my podcast. I've been doing it since 2009. Twice a week, every week, always a new show. Happy to do it. Thank you for listening. Today on the show, David Crosby, the David Crosby, who I actually kind of contacted on Twitter, and we went back and forth. We had a couple phone conversations. He came over. Sweet man. And also a dude with a history. I don't know what you know, but some of us went through those couple of records, those Crosby, Stills, and Nash records, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. And I listened to them before I had David on. And no matter what's going on in the world today with singer-songwriters, sweet country stuff, folky business, thoughtful, acoustic-y things, you put those on, and you put Sweet Judy Blue Eyes on. And I'm not diminishing anybody. I think everybody's doing a fine job out there with their guitars and their mouths. But those guys singing together, I hadn't listened to it in years. I don't know why. It's just not one of the ones that I put in rotation. But Jesus Christ, nothing sounds like that. Nothing sounds like those fellas, those titans of harmony. David's here in a minute. He'll be here. He's got a new record out that I just got sent. It's lovely. His new album's called Lighthouse. Comes out this Friday, October 21st. He's going to go on tour next month. These guys, they go out and they do it, these 70-something-year-old fellas. They got to go out, man. What's the point of living? You can also pre-order the album at davidcrosby.com and figure out if he's coming to a place near you. He's still donning or manning that. We're trying to make stuff that resonates, some of us. We're trying to make things that add and don't just distract or take away, that provoke, that confront, that entertain, but you move you through things. Humane and humbling. We're sponsored by Stamps.com today, which means it's time to think about all those trips you've taken to the post office. Keep those in the past and get postage right from your desk from now on. Stamps.com gives you special postage discounts you can't get at the post office. First class, priority mail, express, international, and more, people. You'll never pay full price for postage again. Use your own computer and printer to buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package. Then just hand it to your mail carrier or drop it in a mailbox. It's that easy. 500,000 small businesses are already using Stamps.com, including us. Stamps.com is only $15.99 a month. That's it. No long-term multi-year commitments, no postage meters, no markups on postage. So let's recap. It saves you money. It saves you time, and it's easy. Right now, sign up for Stamps.com and use my promo code WTF for this special offer. Start a 4-week trial, plus get a $110 bonus offer, including postage and a digital scale. Don't wait! Get started with Stamps.com today! Go to Stamps.com before you do anything else. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in WTF. That's Stamps.com. Enter WTF. Yes, show business. And I'm grateful that it finally worked out for me and I can earn an honest living, which it is. That's another thing people don't realize. As cable and things level off and options expand and the market diversifies and fragments, not all of us are running away with $1 billion an episode. You dig? Pow! I just shit my pants. JustCoffee.coop. Available at WTFpod.com. Classic ad. WTF ad from our original sponsors. Here's a nice email. A nice email. Don't read the comments in the subject line. I like this idea, by the way, what you're about to hear. It's from Sam. Greetings, Mark and or people that read Mark's mail. I thought of a good preamble to this pitch. I was kind of bummed this morning when I saw there was another singer-songwriter guest on the WTF podcast, but decided to listen anyway. I was delighted to hear the Margot Price interview and even went back and listened to the Hutch Harris interview, resulting in even more delight. Lesson learned, and as I have recently heard, the same sentiment espoused on a listener mail segment on the show. In parentheses, don't skip interviews. I would also like to compliment WTF on incorporating a testimonial that actually rang true. That was the preamble. Here's the pitch. Toward the end of the Margot Price interview, before I had ever heard any of her music, Mark and Margot were talking about how awful it is to read the negative trolling comments on Twitter. Margot spoke very passionately and truthfully about saying it ruins my happiness. While Mark had the mustache of his, he's doing well with his incredibly hardcore history and new liver, and it was a pleasure to talk to him. I'm glad he came over. He's a radical dude who's lived through some shit. All right. I also wanted to say the Now Hear This Festival is next week. Come check out more than 30 podcasts live all weekend. It's October 28th through 30th at the Anaheim Marriott. And the special WTF show with me and Brendan McDonald is on Saturday the 29th. Go to nowhearthisfest.com to get tickets and see the full lineup. And now you can use the offer code WTF when you buy tickets to save 25% off general admission. That's nowhearthisfest.com. Offer code WTF. What is on my mind? I seem to be festering about something, about the general condescension to those people, myself included. I will include myself in this, in show business. Show business. The show business industry. There's a lot of, it comes from the right, it comes from whoever, but there's some sort of dumb idea that those of us who work in this industry don't work somehow. And it's disrespectful and snotty. Do you know what it takes to make fucking 3 minutes of television? Now, look, I'm not saying I'm some sort of fucking hero. Do you know how many people are involved on how many levels? It's not just writers, not just actors. There's lighting guys, there's caterers, there's hair and makeup, there's truck drivers, there's people that are operating cameras, camera operators, there are stand-in people, there are props people, there are people in charge of transportation, managing porta potties, trailers, and it just keeps building out from there. Locations people who hold mics, people who are hanging things from ladders, people who are risking their lives on some level. 12 to 15 hour days we do. It's just shitty when people think that celebrity culture, maybe celebrity culture is what it is, but the industry of show business employs a lot of fucking people on a lot of different levels. Who have families, who do real work. I don't know where you get out thinking it's not real work. And again, this is not some heroic diatribe. It's fucking work. This is the job we chose. I don't know what you chose. I don't know how it's working out, but it certainly hasn't been easy, and it's not easy on a day-to-day level. I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about everything that goes into the industry. Now, you may not like what we produce. You may think it's shit, but it's a fucking business. It's an industry, and a lot of people work really hard. So shut the fuck up with this condescending attitude about celebrity culture, which is different than the actual nuts and bolts of show business. I'm not even sure who I'm talking to or why it got stuck in my craw. There's just this general dismissal of something that, is a major business and industry in this country, and where people work very hard and many of them are not appreciated. Okay?